So you don't mind buying stock in companies that create weapons of war that murder civilians? Lockheed Martin, really? So you like blood money? Why are you promoting Raytheon? Missiles to kill people? Of all of the topics that we cover on this channel, of all of the videos that we have done, there is nothing more polarizing than when we do a coverage on a company like Lockheed Martin or on Raytheon Technologies. Should companies be able to profit from wars? We see all kinds of thoughts on this subject. And to give you a sense of what we hear when we cover these, I'm just going to share a few of the user comments or the viewer comments that we've received over the years when we've covered one of these two companies. Lockheed Martin makes machines of death. Really? So you like blood money? Lockheed Martin, really? That's disappointing. I'm just wondering if you have any ethical concerns about investing. Lockheed Martin is war profiteering, isn't it? I would never invest in a company like Lockheed Martin that makes weapons for killing people. Agreed. Some very, very heartfelt, I'm sure, and succinct opinions. A couple more comments I want to go through that are a little bit more detailed in nature. First one comes from Tanya Mendoza, and Tanya writes, and this is about a year ago, I feel like as investors, we speak with our money. I think it's important to do your research on any company you plan to invest in, as I do. With that said, I would personally never invest in a military industrial complex company, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, etc. I realize they are amazing for dividends and will only continue to grow. However, I don't believe in endless wars, and I don't believe in profits at the cost of human life. I realize this may be a controversial topic, but I just wanted to provide food for thought. So you don't mind buying stock in companies that create weapons of war that murder civilians. Pretty easy to feel it's not real when you live in Canada, I guess. A reply to this by one of our regular viewers said, or maybe he doesn't mind buying stocks in companies that create weapons for a nation's right to protect themselves and engage in military action. This exchange to me epitomizes what we're talking about here today, where you have on one side a viewer saying that these companies are creating basically murder weapons, and on the other side you have a viewer who's saying, well, maybe they're creating these weapons to protect us from that type of behavior. Right now, with the Russian-Ukraine conflict that's going on, a lot of things have changed, and a question that I would have for our viewers, and particularly those who have commented previously, has what's happening right now in Ukraine changed your mind? I think that Ukraine would have been crushed by now were it not for the defensive weapons that they either had or are being supplied. Are companies like Raytheon, are companies like Lockheed Martin killers, or are they in fact lifesavers? And I think you can kind of look at it from both perspectives here. Closer look at Lockheed Martin and the role that they're playing in this conflict right now. Lockheed Martin, in conjunction with Raytheon, is responsible for making the Javelin missiles. And I believe these are critical for the defense of what we're seeing over there and the type of war that's occurring right now. The U.S. has already sent over 5,000 of these missiles to Ukraine, which incidentally is about a third of the actual U.S. Stockpile that they have. What are your thoughts on this? Is, in fact, what Lockheed is producing, is what Raytheon is producing, and these are not their only things that they produce, but in this, in the defense sector that they work in, is it blood money that they're earning here, or is this valuable self-defense utilization, the techniques or the products that they're producing vital to have a peaceful world? I would love to hear what your thoughts are on those. Now, clearly, for a company like Lockheed Martin, you always hear this concept of profiting through war and how, I guess, unconscionable in some people's mind it is, or how unethical that is. No question. When we look at what's happened in the last year or so, we can see with the outset of the war, a significant increase in the price of Lockheed Martin. That is much to be expected. If we look back over a longer time frame, so let's look at a 10-year time period, we'll see that Lockheed Martin has substantially outpaced the S&P 500. I'd like to look at a slight twist on this as well. If we pose the following scenario, we all know microprocessors right now are in short demand just because of all the supply chain issues that we've had since COVID has come along. EVs take about 2,000 microprocessors to build a car. Javelin missiles take about 250 microprocessors to build this weapon. If we had to choose right now, or if you had to choose right now, you can suspend the advancement of the electric vehicles temporarily and redivert those microprocessor chips to these Javelin weapons to help the people of Ukraine now. Or if you can make a sacrifice on that side and continue to push on the electric vehicle side of things, I'd be curious to see what your thoughts on there. And you can probably put this into the category or the realm of an ethical or a moral question. Hopefully the chain can continue to supply for both. But what are your thoughts on that? I want to take a look at also RTX, or Raytheon Technologies, another company. Now, they're responsible for the Stinger missiles. So the Stinger missile is a man-portable air defense system. So they're basically used to provide surface to air. So as we all have heard probably by now, there's not a closed airspace over Ukraine. So the Russian army, the Russian Air Force is using the airspace to attack, and the defense that Ukraine has is to use the surface-to-air missiles. I would argue that they are essential for the survival of Ukraine right now. In fact, the Pentagon is boosting orders to make up for the shortage, and in fact, they're having trouble keeping up in order to continue to provide supply to help Ukraine defend themselves. Much like Lockheed Martin, shares of Raytheon are outpacing the S&P 500 since the outbreak of the conflict. However, if we look back over the 10 years, shares of Raytheon have trailed the S&P 500. If there is ever a video that we've ever put out that you're going to comment on, I would really urge you to consider leaving your comment and weighing in on this discussion right now. Are companies like Lockheed Martin or companies like Raytheon, are they killers? Or are they actually savers of life? What is your opinion on it? Have your views changed since the outbreak? And we've seen this practically global outrage as to what's happening in Ukraine right now, and the killing of all these innocent people over there. Really would invite your comments and weigh in on this discussion. If you would like to learn more about our Investing Academy, I will provide a link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Look forward to hearing from you, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.